And boom, we just got hit with a copyright strike.
We're not doing that this time. Okay. But what we are going to do is we're going to have us a great show tonight. Guys, it's Monday night. Welcome to the podcast, Horns Forward Podcast, the greatest podcast in the nation, in the world, in your living room or on your mobile device. Right now, it's happening. You guys know me, Loudmouth of the South, SAJ. Going this way, I don't care. This guy.
Mr. Eggplant right there. All right.
What is up? I'm BD and kick it off right. Here we go.
And
well, hang on. Let Jorge introduce himself.
I mean, I don't think I need an introduction because people already know who I am. So cheers, everybody, from El Mariachi Brahma.
Cheers.
And then, yes, I am drinking Zoa, the official energy drink of XFL fans everywhere.
I'm drinking water. So, guys, this is going to be an awesome episode. Let's start it out right. First and foremost, I'm going to share a video with you guys. This is a video that we posted up on our Facebook page.
One thing first.
What?
We have merch.
Oh, yeah. We got to pay the bills first.
Yeah.
The bills got merch last, but you're right. Let's
pay
the bills with some merch.
Right here.
Yeah. Right there.
And
there's
QR code.
There's
weird.
There's some merch there, t-shirts. There's Bulls on tour. If you want to join the gang and be one of the traveling fans this season, we got our own little merch going, and this does help us pay some of our bills. So anything that you purchase from there does go directly to supporting the podcast. So we appreciate it. And
what is up, Michigan?
Pride, what's up? What's up, y'all? And I'll kick it over to Jay now. He's been excited about this news, so go right into it.
I've been chomping at the bit to announce this. So we're going to show you a video first. Let me share a screen, and then we're going to go from there. Whatever could that video mean? Guys, such a cryptic message, right? It's showing some stuff that's going on, maybe some football stuff and some weird views and a little bit of distorted negative stuff. I think we probably should get to the source. I heard backstage we have a special guest.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we have a special guest that can tell us what this video means.
Yeah, so why don't we bring him out? This guy.
The man, the myth, the voice.
Oh, wait a minute, guys. I'm sorry. I got a phone call. Hello? Look, I'm not taking any more of your calls. I said no to Houston. I said no to Memphis. And I said no to Arlington.
Good.
Why the hell would I want to go to a team that says, "Kaka" to be their announcer? I'm bringing my talents to San Antonio Brahmas.
Let's go. Hope is a reality now.
It's all real, Bubba.
You asked for it. Hope for hope. You asked for it. It happened. Milton, talk to us. You are now the official announcer.
Well, thank you guys for your endorsement and whatever y'all did. It's pretty cool. So I got an email last week from somebody behind the scenes saying, "Hey, we know you did a game last year. There's been a lot of talk about you. Are you interested?" And of course, I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "Yeah, man. I've already checked my schedule. I was just waiting for the schedule to come out. So I'm in. I've already got my spotter in place. So it's all ready to go."
Is it the certain spotter that I happen to know?
Yeah, probably so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll leave him unnamed.
No, my spotter is Andy Jimenez. Definitely want to give him a shout out because he is my backup announcer over at Judson. He's also my backup, and he's my spotter for UTSA football. And now I'm kind of bringing him in as kind of a backup for UTSA softball announcing. So Andy's getting a little bit more exposure, but he's real happy to jump on board as well.
And he's all right. So, that's cool. Good for him.
And, this actually correlates really well with an experience that I actually had today. So I was at the doctor's office for a procedure today. And while I was in the waiting room, and please, just before you guys say, oh my God, when I tell them the story, because it's part of it. But someone comes over to me, they're like, hey, are you the mariachi guy for the Brahmas? I'm like, yes, that's me. And they're like, oh, no, we went to a game last year. It was the very last one. And I was like, oh, that was a really good one. They're like, oh, yeah, that was so much fun. And like, it was so electric. And it was like, just, we want to go back and this, and that. And they just were so hyped up about the atmosphere at that specific game. And I kept saying, I was like, yeah, no, that was the game to be at. I have never been to a more electric game where the crowd was just so intense. And a big part of that, honestly, Milton, was because of you and the way that you were able to lead and control the crowd and just get everybody up at the right times. And I mean, for people to still be talking about that, and we're now in the middle of February of the following year, I mean, that just speaks volumes to the job that, they definitely got the right guy. And I'm glad that they listened to the fans that, they got the right guy for the job.
It is a very humbling experience to look back on, just being able to fill in that one time. But, even when I take a look at UTSA football videos that they post on Facebook or softball or basketball, if you would have told me 30 years ago that I would be hearing my voice in the background of these videos that are going across, I would have said you're crazy. So, it's just very humbling, and I appreciate it. And I just try to bring my A game to everything that I do. And I don't tone it down unless somebody tells me to tone it down. And as of yet, nobody said that.
I absolutely do not want you to tone it down at all.
Yeah, no,
unless we're on offense. We may need a reminder about that.
Yeah, you are going to have to help us with that. Just a fair warning.
Yeah, we'll have fun with it. And sometimes, like I told Joe on the previous show, sometimes things just come off the top of my head. And if it works, man, we keep going with it. If it doesn't, you don't ever see it again. But, most of the time, like you were saying, I've got a good feel for the crowd. I got a good feel for the game after 30 plus years. So it's, it's invigorating. I don't want to be bored. I want to be active up there. So, yeah. And then my good friend, the guy who runs the show for UTSA, Israel Vasquez, he's going to be right next to me doing the very same thing for the Brahmas. So everybody that works the UTSA game will actually be in the booth with me. So, it just makes it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about stepping on somebody's toes or me doing something and the person looks at me like I'm strange. Izzy knows everything that I do, and he encourages me to be crazy.
Oh, that's fantastic. Nice. That's perfect, man. Get the people you're familiar with up there.
Yeah.
Now, there's one thing I want to tag off of what Jorge said earlier, maybe expand upon it in a little bit different direction. This is the UFL, obviously. They pay attention to what the fans say. Maybe we don't get every single thing that we want and that we ask for or whatever, but this is proof positive that if you find something that works, that the community can get behind, and it's going to draw more people in, they're definitely going to support it. So right here, folks, we asked for this guy. We know what he can do. We know how he can pump up the crowd. So get connected, get involved with your team, show your support, start building those connections with your fan base and with the organizers of the league and everything. And you can get some of this also. So I highly encourage.
We've only got 4 times to show off, which of course we've already talked about in the past, but we only got 4 times to show off. So we need to do it strong and heavy all 4 times.
Yep. And we will with you leading the charge. I know we're gonna shut some fans up from the opposing team. I promise you.
And what I love is that it's all local talent that's working the booth up there. It's all local talent. You guys are familiar with the Alamo Dome setup already. The Alamo Dome staff is familiar with you guys, obviously from the UTSA game. Mm-hmm. So that already just makes great synergy and just makes the team much more community oriented Just
Yeah.
that it inches it a little bit closer to that community building that is so
Mhm.
desperately needed in all the markets. And the fact that we can be at the forefront of this just by doing this small little thing, that's just, hey, that's a step in the right direction. We keep taking those steps, keep going, and before you know it, we're gonna be my goal is hopefully that us as a fan base can be the model that other teams are like, we want to be like those guys. They're doing it right. Yeah, one city may have the numbers, but are they doing it right? I don't know that they are.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So no, very excited to jump on board, and we'll get closer to the first game. They said there'll be a couple of meetings, and Jason throwing that hashtag up there. He's so proud of himself right now. He's so
Yep.
proud of himself. That
Right.
desk seems to be rising a little bit in front of him, but
That's just
he
me
is so
shrinking.
excited.
So
But I appreciate you guys for having that push out there and mentioning me and the hashtag and everything. And it's certainly, like I said, it's humbling to have people do that for me, because I'm just a guy behind the microphone. But it's going to be a wild year. I think we're going to have fun with it.
oh, we are.
We'll make those 4 games
And
count.
really, yeah, it's going to be even more enjoyable with you there, hyping up the crowd, leading the charge, making our opponents fear us in our own house. So,
Yeah, for
Milton,
sure.
thank you in advance, because
Sure.
I know what you're going to bring, man. Thank you. Thank you.
I look forward to it.
All right. Milton, I'm sure you probably have more important things to do on a Monday night.
NCIS, baby.
There you go.
Maybe Roger Goodell is going to be calling you next or something like that. So we don't want to tie you up too long.
That's all right. I'll check in with you guys as we get closer to the first home game.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Let's
no,
go.
Forward
Thank
to
you
it.
for jumping on. Appreciate
you.
it, man. Happy to hear the news. And yeah, well, I think you still have some wounds to lick from your Chiefs. I had to get that in there. Ooh.
Ooh.
I wouldn't worry too much about that because he's
Hello,
a
St.
Cowboys fan.
Louis. Hello, St. Louis. Yes, I just became available.
Dang it.
I only got 2 words for you. Horns forward.
There we go.
Let's go.
Let's do it, baby. Talk to y'all in a few weeks.
All right, take care.
Hey,
Milton.
Milton.
Take care,
Take care,
guys. All
buddy.
right.
So there it is, the official news. Cannot be more excited. Not just, again, because of the fact that we really helped, the fans, us, not just us in the podcast, but all of you guys, the fans, starting the whole, hashtag Hope for Hope movement. The fact that the league heard us, and as Jorge said, the fact that it's all local talent that already knows the dome and already knows the crowd, knows how to get things hyped up, right? So this is going to be a phenomenal year. Granted, yeah, it's only 4 home games. We're going to make at least the one in Arlington a home game, and probably 1, if not 2 games in St. Louis are home games as well, even though they're on the road. But we're going to own those stadiums like we always do. But the 4 home games at home are going to be absolutely rocking. And it's because of you fans, and it's because the league actually takes the time to listen to the fans. So UFL, thank you for hearing us. Thank you for making this happen. Milton, thank you in advance for the excitement. And fans, thank you for supporting this and making this happen as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, like I said, the fact that the environment of that game is still being mentioned to me in public almost a year later, that speaks volumes right there. I mean, if we could replicate what we had that day every game, there's no reason why this place can't go wild,
Yeah. I mean, considering the fact that we have half the numbers and are still twice as loud as the biggest rivalry in the league, we've got an incredible fan base. If we're that loud with 12 to 15,000, imagine how loud we would be with 30,000. Our opponents, literally, their ears would be bleeding because you guys would be so rowdy and loud. So let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Let's show the league just how powerful we can be as a what's the word I'm looking
as
for?
a city, as a community.
As a community, right? There you go. Perfect. Thank you, Jorge. Let's show the league just how strong that Puro Santo pride is. Come on out, get your season tickets, get your single game tickets, right? Let's fill the dome. Let's show the league why we're the best team in the league, hands down.
And let's give them a reason to remember why they even wanted to invest in San Antonio in the first place, because they didn't have to. But they chose our city because they saw something in us that we have seen in ourselves for a long time that other places really never have. They've always overlooked us or looked at us as a bargaining chip, and so we want to make sure we repay that and show the league that, hey, yeah, no, you guys made a good choice in San Antonio. And I mean, I feel like they already know that, but we have to definitely make sure that we back it up.
So let me ask you, Jorge, how could one go about doing that? I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second. How could one go about showing their civic pride and support for this team?
I mean, first of all, show up. First and foremost, get your season tickets. Get a ticket. I don't know when single game tickets go on sale. They go on sale here pretty soon, but get your season tickets if you haven't already. I mean, this is honestly, y'all, and I know it's 4 games, but this is the cheapest season as far as costs goes, and everyone knows everything's getting more expensive. Well, this is one thing that got less expensive for fans is the price of season tickets. And if you're thinking, oh, I'll just wait for like those like BOGO deals or $10 ticket, those really aren't going to be as prominent as they were last year, from what I've heard. So I wouldn't really expect that too much. And I would also avoid having to deal with Ticketmaster fees, honestly, if you're gonna buy them on Ticketmaster.
I mean, you don't have to mess with the Ticketmaster fees. You've already got them loaded on your account. You've got the season ticket member entrance for the game. You've got the special line for the merch. You've got all kinds of stuff that there's no reason to not get season tickets.
I don't know if I could be mistaken about this, but I do believe that they will be honoring the season ticket member discount on merch at the Alamo Dome as well.
Yes.
I believe that's one of the perks that I had also heard. So that was one of the things that we're like, hey, I mean, that would be nice to be able to take advantage of it there. I mean, that's I don't know. I can't confirm or deny that, but I do know for a fact there's at least going to be a line for season ticket members to get merch, so that we're not having to wait in like that giant line that there always forms to get merch. Because I've seen those lines and I'm just like, oy. Yeah. But now, as far as asking for better merch, I mean, that's an Under Armour deal, baby. I mean, ask Under Armour.
Yeah. And that is a great question. We don't really have solid answers, and we can't really influence that part necessarily, because as Jorge said, that's a deal that the UFL has worked out with Under Armour. But what you can do is you can buy some incredible Horns Forward podcast merchandise. You could even potentially get, I've heard rumor that there might be some TTF merchandise on there as well.
But you want some really good merch, you go right here. Fantastic merch. Everything you would ever want right here.
Exactly. But in the meantime, while the league is there's some Romo Chones on our website, I believe. No, we're not doing that joke again. Okay,
no.
Well, let's move on from that.
I was going to say something.
Don't. We're moving on. There's been talk about the merchandise for a while, right? I wouldn't hold my breath until we know that the league becomes viable and is producing income. There's still some talk about what they're going to do with the expansions, where they're going to go, things like that. Those things are probably going to have to be worked out first before we ever get to kind of revamping the merchandise. They've got the basics covered. It's not bad stuff, right? Some of it, right, it's a little bit hit and miss, but for the most part, it's pretty decent. Mama Ruth, she's in there somewhere.
John just confirmed it. The season ticket member discount can be used during the games at the Alamo Dome. So there you go. There's your answer. So if you have season tickets, you get 25% off all merch and your own line to be able to purchase in the Alamo Dome.
Yeah. So there you go. Maybe it's not the best merch, but 25% off, right? I mean, that's a pretty sweet
I
deal.
mean,
You
there's,
know
there's,
what?
there's plenty of great stuff.
I
mean,
was just happy to get Under Armour
this
stuff.
shirt's
to be honest.
fantastic. It fits great. I love the way it fits. And there's a ton of merch that's that just fits really good. And I love it. It's
You know,
there's
I
some
would-
that I'm not crazy about, but there's
Look,
plenty that's just
To
great.
go from what we had year one, then we got the Under Armour merch, which was definitely a hot seller during the season. And then, we even got the Michael Strahan brand, or where is it? Somewhere. I don't know, but the Michael Strahan brand merch, which I'm wearing right now, which I'm pretty sure they're going to be. I would hope they're going to be expanding on their merch offerings for more teams. I know they had more of the focus last year on the USFL conference, so I would hope that they expand their offerings to also include the XFL teams, because I know that was one of the things that a lot of people were like, "Hey, love, Michael Strahan has some pretty cool stuff for the Stallions and the Panthers. Well, why don't we get any?" But we'll see. I mean, it's like I said, year 2 of the league, so everyone's equal. There's the whole XFL, USFL like rivalry now has kind of been, I wouldn't say watered down a little bit, but it doesn't exist in the same fashion as it did last year, where it was purely XFL players versus purely USFL players. Now it's one giant pool of UFL players. I mean, yeah, teams are going to have some of the same players from last year, but as far as signing new players, bringing in new blood, I mean, there's players that never played in the league that all teams had access to, so there really isn't that. I mean, last year was special in that sense, but now it's UFL.
It is, and there's a lot more. I guess there's a lot more kind of inbreeding between the teams, which is great news for Birmingham fans.
Marlon swinging for the fences. I'm going to take the opposite point on that, only in the sense that you're not going to have the clearly divided lines like you did with the players last year, but the fan base is still going to be kind of more solidified with those rivalries. Like we're always going to bag on St. Louis. We're always going to bag on Memphis. You're always going to bag on Arlington. These are just things that are
easy
set
to
in
do.
stone. Okay. Well, yeah, when you have the settings on the easiest settings on NCAA 25.
Jorge bagging on Arlington is like him beating, NCAA, football on the easiest setting. It's just low hanging fruit. You just got to do it.
Oh, it's like
exactly
slam dunking on a Fisher Price hoop. Like that's what it's like going up against Arlington.
Well, we'll see, because I got a feeling that things might be a little bit different this year, man, with all the teams kind of restructuring and some players coming back, some retiring, and new blood coming in. It's at this point, until we actually see, some information about who's on our squad versus who's on other people's squads, it's anybody's game, right? Everything's up in the air. But yes, when the first XFL team wins, you're gonna hear it from the XFL fans. All of them are going to be a little bit united in calling for some USFL head, but that's the joy of this, right? Some of those natural rivalries that have kind of developed through this whole program, if you will.
And while we're on with the rivalries and stuff, we've got one our first week. We talked about it
against Arlington. Rivalry when they're 3-1.
I mean, it's our in-state rival, but hey, we got a hat, and we've got a rivalry rally as well.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call Arlington top opponent. I'd call them an opponent, but
DC
St. Louis
would be a
and
top
Birmingham.
opponent.
St. Louis and Birmingham for sure. I mean, they got Alec. Birmingham's got Magoo back. I feel bad for Adrian Martinez because they just kind of kicked him to the curb.
I don't think he was on the Jets or whatever, and I never even heard like any attempt for him to come back or anyone for him to come back.
No, and then St. Louis has been self-destructing all off season, between the coach wanting to leave and then he couldn't leave, and then it's they kicked AJ McCarron to the curb, and everyone loved him, and I mean he played well. I mean, he played with a lot of heart and passion. I'll give him that. But yeah, they've been kind of self-destructing this offseason from what I've been seeing. Meanwhile, we look at San Antonio, and not only has the coaching staff for the most part stayed intact, minus Coach Dre, which he's going to go do great things in Colorado. Wish him the best up there.
We do, but damn you, Prime.
Yeah, Prime could have waited
100%.
until after the season. But anyway, beyond that, I mean, it is his alma mater, so I do understand. I mean, going back to his alma mater.
I don't hate on a guy, moving in, a step up or something like that. So, I mean, like you said, wish Coach Dre the best, but
yeah, and the thing is when I messaged him to congratulate him on his hire at Colorado, he did want to just reiterate. He's like, no matter what, though, I'm always going to be a Brahma. Once a Brahma, always a Brahma. So just know that he is cheering us on. It would be cool to see if he can make it down to a game. But I know it's, Colorado's not that close to San Antonio. So, but we'll see. It'd be cool to have him be in the stands with us.
So real quick update on Martinez. Not that, we want to focus too much on the rest of the teams in the league, but not only was he on the New York Jets practice squad this last year, he also signed a reserve future contract as of January 6th. So there's no real potential for him to come back unless he somehow gets cut in the offseason. So that's why he's not coming back and why Magoo did. Because it looks like the Packers did not give Magoo any kind of a reserve or potential future contract. They were just like, hey, thanks for your time. Now head on back.
Thanks for being a tackling dummy.
Yeah. He will be dangerous. I don't think he's necessarily going to be our biggest concern, though. And I think really with our quarterback, Kellen Mond, I think we're the ones that everybody's going to need to be worried about, because Mond he's hungry. He's got a lot to prove, and he's got a big chip on his shoulder. He's going to be, he's completely balling out there.
And he's playing locally. I mean, that also weighs into like playing in front of your hometown crowd. Even though he didn't go to UTSA necessarily, he is a San Antonio kid. So still, I mean, I know he's played in the Alamo Dome in high school, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, still being able to play in front of your hometown crowd at a professional level, like that is huge.
Yeah.
Yep. It is going to be phenomenal. Sorry, I'm trying to delete some settings on my computer because for some reason it keeps opening up with Yahoo search engine instead of Google, like everything's supposed to. Anyways, yeah, I'm excited for that, for him to be back in front of his, his home crowd, for him to be, feeling that vibe, knowing that, hey man, these are my people. These are this is the community that I grew up representing, and now I get the opportunity to come back and represent again on this level of a stage. I mean, let's think about it. We've got 2 home games. They're going to be primetime games on Fridays. Man, that's going to be phenomenal. This is going to be, and hopefully we get to keep them around for longer than a season before some dirty NFL team comes along and steals them. But this is an opportunity for him to really show what he can do, why he was picked by A&M, why he has the potential to be a very serious contender in the NFL. And we get to have him here in San Antonio. So I think the rest of the league really needs to watch out.
Not only that, I mean, you also got to remember Coach A.J. Smith. I mean, a lot of eyes have been on him to be able to move up or to become a head coach somewhere. I had begged him not to be a coach somewhere else. Thankfully, he's still here. As far as the tailgating times, we have not been informed that there has been any sort of difference in the change to the rules. That's an Alamo Dome thing, an Alamo Dome decision. So I'm sure as we get closer to the opening game, actually probably closer to really May, because we already know the first home game, it's the Fiesta game. So we're not going to be able to tailgate at the Alamo Dome anyways. But yeah, I mean that's where we are with the tailgates. Um, so I would just expect just the same rules as last year. For the first home game, we may have to find the alternate lot and use that. But
And
just
I
'cause
mean,
of his-
whatever we have, however many hours they give us, we're gonna make every bit of it count. So
yeah,
you know,
it'll
Yep.
be fun.
Even if we have to start at the Bill Millers across the street, right?
Yeah.
We'll make it work somehow, some way.
we'll
Speaking
fit
of
4 hours
making-
of tailgating into 2 hours.
Oh, easily. But speaking of making things work, though, why don't we talk about how we're going to make this rivalry rally work the Friday before the game? So I know it's something that we've been kind of talking about and kicking around in the background, but we really need a head count. So if you guys are thinking about going to the rivalry rally, let Jackie know, give us some numbers, let us know how many people are actually going to be going with you. So that way
Yeah.
we can kind of, let our friends know in advance that there's going to be 800 of us and only like 3 of them.
The
That way
the
they've got
rally
plenty of food.
and the game as well. So if
Yeah.
you're not going to go up there on Friday for the rally, but you want to go up Saturday for the game, please let us know as well. You know, Jackie's putting together all of us being able to sit in the same section. If you've gone up there with Arlington game with us before, it's going to be the same section. If you haven't, you really need to because it's amazing and it's a blast
And it's fun to
we're
piss off
basically the home
Arlington
team.
fans. We always do that.
It's easy to piss off Arlington fans.
But we got a lot of one finger salutes in Arlington. But I will tell you, just if you have not experienced a game in the prison cell that is the Arlington Stadium, our section is covered, so you will be protected from the elements, whether it's raining, whether it's sunshine for days. Like, we are protected from all of that because our section is covered.
About the only thing we're not going to be protected from is their tears and their jeers when they lose again to San Antonio in their own home.
Yeah, and
I mean,
sorry.
can we even call it their own home at this point? I mean, let's face it.
They haven't beat us
Brahmas,
there.
we just own Cocktail Stadium, so it's ours.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got more wins there than they do. 2 seasons now. So I'm just saying, right? That should be Brahma's North Stadium.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as we put on there, there's going to be a poll on the Horns Forward podcast page on Facebook to just start getting a head count of who's going to do what, just so that way, one, for the rivalry rally, for the space that the Banditos are going to be renting out or borrowing for that pregame rally, we want to make sure that there's enough space for everybody who wants to go. And for the game itself, we want to let our ticket office know, how many tickets we can expect to be sold for the Arlington game. So that way, if they have to, do whatever they have to do, whatever magic they got to do, they can do that. So, yeah, that way, everyone's on fire. We're firing on all cylinders. It's a smooth process for everyone. And, yeah, that's really what it all comes down to. There's the flyer for the rivalry rally the day before on Friday, Boomer Jack's Grill. Unfortunately, you will have to go to Dallas for this one, not in Arlington, because there's really nothing to do in Arlington to begin with. So you do have to suffer in Dallas. Sorry, not our call on that one. But the Banditos are being awesome in hosting this. Yeah, so let's go and show them, the same way that they came and hung out with us last year at El Camino here in downtown, in actual San Antonio, where the San Antonio Brahmas play. We'll go and support the rivalry rally over there in Dallas, where the Arlington Renegades don't play. But that's neither here nor there.
Yep. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted by a Kellen Mond video that happens to be on the Horns Forward podcast page. So if you need more information, if you want to see the flyer yourself, go to the Horns Forward podcast page. It's Val. What's up, buddy? Make sure you bring some of that chocolate cake for us when we're hanging out, either Friday or Saturday. If you guys don't know about, both. But if you don't know about chocolate cake, you need to show up and find out. And hopefully Val will stay awake this time for the game. Seems like they don't do too good when we show up and he falls asleep. I'm just saying. But either way, guys, go to the Horns Forward podcast page. You'll get more information about the I-35 rivalry and just the meet and greet that we're doing beforehand. There's all that information is there. The poll will be up later on, so we can get a head count of who's going where and what's going on, and then that way Jackie's job will be a little bit easier trying to kind of coordinate everything. So definitely you want to take it easy on her. She does this out of the the goodness of her heart. So let's make sure that we're helping her get all the information to her as quickly as possible. She make the arrangements and tells us what we need to do. Let's just make her job easier in that regard.
And
So
in addition to everything that's going on between the game and the pregame rally, there's also a tailgate that we forgot to mention that the Banditos will also be hosting right across the street from the prison cell. So yeah, I mean, come hang out at the tailgate. It's a lot of fun. It's good times, good people, good food. I can't remember I think they said they were doing a crawfish boil, if I'm not mistaken, or doing something like that.
I believe that's what Marco said they were doing.
Yeah. So it'll be a good time.
A seafood boil.
And they're excellent cooks, and they have their chocolate cake shots that are dangerously delicious, and yeah, so they definitely would recommend you guys come on out to the tailgate before the game. And they don't have the 2-hour rule like we do at the Alamo Dome, so we will be. I don't know what time the game starts. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they'll be out there all day.
We'll be out there early.
Yeah, we'll be there like at 8:00. The game's at 6 in the evening, but we'll be there at 8:00 in the morning.
Actually, no, I think it's at 3. Actually, now that I remember, because I remember I had to tell my
whatever
in-laws, I think it's at 3:00.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, they don't have the same 2-hour rules there that we have.
Confirmed by the boss.
So
real quick,
yeah,
there's my U.S. Women's National Team upcoming player right here.
Go right there.
So proud of these two. Just a little shout out to my girls. Excellent soccer players. Absolutely love what they're doing on the field there. I know that's soccer, that's football, not football, but you got to have a proud dad moment, right? Yeah, so anyways.
Always.
Hey, fantastic, man. Fantastic. Yep. You and your girls.
No, fantastic to them. They're the ones that are putting in the work. So I just sit on the sidelines and I actually don't yell anymore, which is surprising. I guess I need to save it for the games. Anyways, but yeah, it's going to be an awesome time. So make sure that you guys get your counts to Jackie. Make sure you show up. We're going to obviously we're going to be going up early. So, if you need to coordinate a ride or something like that, let us know. We'll try and figure something out. I mean, I can't fit 100 people in my truck. Well, I guess I probably could if we put some people in the back, but I don't know if that's a thing anymore. I know it was when we were growing up, but I don't know if you can ride 300 miles.
You got a bed slide. They can hang out in there. Nobody will know the difference.
That's true. And I do have a pad in the back there. Don't ask questions. We'll keep moving forward. Anyways,
now
just get a hold of us. We'll work something out, right? Even if we have to caravan, right? We'll make it work.
Someone had mentioned Brahma beer a little. I think might have been Marlon. Now I don't know. I have not been told by Alamo Brewery or by the team that there will be another rendition of Brahma beer. I know last year was, as far as I was aware, it was the final canning to get through whatever cans were left from the original season. So I don't know if there's been a partnership that has been reestablished or not. I hope there is, because it was, for me personally, it tastes better coming out of those Brahma cans. And they also make great gifts to our opposing friends. But I have not been told anything personally about where that stands or what that's going to look like. So I wouldn't count on it, unfortunately. But who knows? We may get surprised as we get closer to the season. Which, if we are, then hey, expect for it to be sold out a lot again.
Yeah. Well, for Alamo Beer, unfortunately, earlier this month they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Did they now?
They
I did not
did.
know that.
Yes, they're hoping to restructure and come back. We hope they do because they have fantastic beer.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows what's going on with that in a partnership?
Oh man, that's a bummer to hear.
I
I
mean,
did not know that.
Yeah, hopefully the team, whether it's with Alamo, whether it's with another brewery or something, I mean, we gotta have something local to get just something, some kind of local brewery or something just to bring the community into it.
Now, we won't be using St. Louis garbage beer with our labels on it.
No,
I would not tarnish our reputation with anything that disgusting. But if it doesn't work out with Alamo, maybe we can find another brewery, see if we can lead the charge. It would not work very quickly, but maybe we can make something happen for, potentially the next season.
Yeah.
Right?
Season 4.
Right. But then that also will give us time to find something that was as good a quality as the Brahma beer, that delicious golden ale from Alamo Brewery. Because we don't want to put our name, well, the Brahma's name. It's not our team. Like, we don't own it, but we don't
it's
wanna
our
put the
team.
Brahma's name. Yeah. I mean, I'm inked up. Jorge's inked up. Brian, you're next. But
Yeah.
We don't want to put that legacy that we've already built on a subpar beer, because this is not a subpar city. So we
Right.
don't want that kind of a reputation. So if for whatever reason it doesn't work out with Alamo, fingers crossed that it does. But if it doesn't, maybe we can help reach out and find a brewery that is definitely representative of the San Antonio culture and just the heritage here. So
Now we got one of our bandito friends saying that if you are staying in Arlington, getting a hotel there may be a transportation van that could take you around for $5 to wherever, whether it be within Arlington to the stadium or whatever. So that way, that might be an option if you want to save some money on parking and things like that. So, yeah. So thank you for the tip, Val. We'll make sure if you hear anything on that, let us know and we'll let our people know so that way they can take advantage of that.
Yep.
And yeah, so I'm kind of bummed now to hear about Alamo Beer. I did not know that they had. I mean, I have been doing my taxes, so I haven't been up on like what's been going on locally. I've been stuck in looking at numbers, but
yeah, it was something I saw come across a couple weeks ago. And yeah, I was just one of those like, man, just mostly just kind of bums you out.
But that would be awesome if we could have some sort of comeback of Brahma beer in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But again, that's something that the team needs to work out with a beer brewery. So, like I said, I think it's too close to the season this year for that to happen, but definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly,
unless there was already something in the works that we just
don't know about.
Yeah, who knows?
But it is. I do. I mean, that is another talking point for for the fans to just keep pushing for.
Yep.
We saw what could happen when we do it for Milton. If they can get a deal worked out where both parties, the team, well, three parties, the team, the league, and the brewery all can make money off of this, then that would be something that maybe we can work something out and push for a brewery. Now, the brewery, obviously, we would love for it to be a San Antonio-based brewery, but we do have fans all over the place. So, whether it's an Austin-based brewery, quite frankly, right now, to be honest with you, the brewing industry needs help. I mean, craft beer industry needs help. Places are closing left and right. So anything that can help anyone at this point, just support Texas business really at that point. And I mean, to be able to say that I went through 150 beers in one tailgate, not me personally, but just yeah, that would be, I would not be here right now if that was the case. Um, but yeah, it's been those beers were very, very popular. So hopefully something can come back.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, yeah, drink your golden ale out of your Horns Forward podcast koozie, and keep it ice cold, baby.
Yep. And that's something that we can definitely do. But I am a little bit bummed about the fact that we're not going to be able to travel with, the gifts that we have in the past.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe, there's, some kind of, resurrection of Alamo Brewery. They bring back the Brahma beer just in time for the season. Realistically, I'm not sure that would happen. But on the same token, realistically, we never thought that we were going to get professional football back here in San Antonio, and we did, right? So things can happen. It just depends on how hungry the fans are. So, guys, start reaching out. We saw what the power of the hashtag did. That's because of the community involvement and this community support. So, maybe start, reaching out, see what you can do. Go to Alamo, buy some beer there, right? And when you're there, drop some hints. Hey, whatever happened to that delicious golden Brahma ale? Like, I would love to have some of that right now. And, just see what you can do. But in the meantime, let's see what we can do to continue to support, the league, local business, craft breweries here in Texas. I'm sure, one or two of us here, absolutely love some good craft beer. So,
Well, we'll
let's
see.
use our power as consumers to start bringing back some of the things that we like, right? So,
Now,
but,
I do want to kind of touch on some of the things that have been happening with the team, and as we're getting closer now to training camp and things like that. Obviously, we got Destroying back, and he was balling out at the Pro Bowl for celebrities or whatever. I didn't really watch too much of that, but I saw him have a couple good catches. I'm like, bro, don't hurt yourself again. But that was cool to have that representation out there. Obviously, he's got a big following as it is. So, that was still, it was cool. And then as far as transactions, I know we recently traded Quentin Dormady to Memphis for a linebacker who has announced his retirement. Therefore, that has freed up a linebacker position. I don't know if it's been filled by the team yet, but I do know of a linebacker who has 2 years of experience playing for the Brahmas that
might happen to have another brother that's also in the league.
Yeah, I mean, his brother might be playing for Houston, but we could take Delonte Scott. Maybe can come back home because I know he would love that phone call, and we would love to have him back. And
absolutely,
I mean, honestly, quite frankly, when he was on the field, I felt like the defense played better, and he was a force. And so
he's just one of those guys that, like, just his on the field energy just kind of radiates throughout the entire team, and they all hit a little harder, move a little faster when he's there.
Yeah, so I mean that's someone that I would like to see fill that linebacker position because, like I said, he's got 2 years of experience with the team that is 2 years old. I know he loves San Antonio and the fans. Haven't spoken with him. And his brother Mike is playing for the Roughnecks. But I know that would be just a fun battle to watch, brother versus brother, even though they're both on defense. And I know he just had a baby girl earlier last year, so so I do hope that we can see him play again in San Antonio. So that's one transaction that I would like to see. I do know that we are
hashtag hope for Scott.
Skip for Scott. No, and then we also got we're still keeping a glorious mustache on the team with Kevin Hogan as the backup quarterback. I know Ryan Santoso, I believe he has retired from the sport to focus on his pilot's license. At least that's what he had mentioned last season when we had gotten a chance to speak with him personally, where he was thinking about kind of moving away from the sport. He had done his time in the NFL and focusing on becoming a pilot, which opened up a spot for Destroying. Obviously, Parker Romo is not going to come back because he just killed it in the NFL this year. And so we still have a beautiful mustache on the team, which I think is becoming a thing now. We have to have at least one player with the beautiful mustache. And that this year is going to be Kevin Hogan. So maybe I'll shave my beard and just leave the mustache in honor of Hogan. Yeah, and then we also got a growing fan base in Mexico. I can tell you that right now from a fact. I know that there's a place that I have personally visited that is willing and wanting to host watch parties for people who are in the Eagle Pass, Piedras Negras area, and the surrounding cities in, Uvalde, Carrizo Springs, all that area. There's works for something that by the fans, for the fans, in Piedras Negras for a watch party. And the food is great. It's out on a terrace. I spoke, our friend Habo, who helps me run the Vamos Brahmas podcast, which will be starting up again soon. He spoke with the owner of the restaurant and has already gotten confirmation that they're willing to host Brahmas fans. So for one of the away games, if you want to go and spend the afternoon in Mexico and finish it off with a game, a Brahmas game watch party in Mexico, that will be something that we may be putting together here in the near future. And it's only 2 hours away as opposed to having to drive, 16 to St. Louis. So, and besides, the beer there, I think the most expensive one is 49 pesos, which comes out to about $2.50.
Nice.
Yeah. About fair average trade. I think, we're talking about players that are coming back and everything and players that we want. I think it's also important that we kind of highlight the fact that I'm excited to see this guy play, right? But Greedy Williams is on our squad. That should be a phenomenal addition for our corners, right? And then we also signed Juwan Reed, former wide receiver for the Sea Dragons. So that gives us not only an incredible quarterback, but we also have a very, very talented wide receiver room. So I think our offense is going to be, I know our defense is going to be
John Drake Kirkland's coming back.
Yep.
Yeah. I know our defense is going to be just as dangerous as they were last year. But this year, I think we're going to have a solid offense.
I think think we're stepping up on our offensive game.
I mean, with Jordan Williams and Tavante Beckett coming back, and then we also got
Jordan Williams,
Xavier Patton anchoring down the D line coming, and then last year on the O line, we have anchoring at center Sam Tecklenburg, who took over for our boy Thick Six, Alex Millette, who has decided to also retire. He also did a phenomenal job filling in last year, so it's not like he's coming in cold or anything like that. Nope. He I think he played six of the 10 games as a starter while Alex was recovering from an injury, if I remember correctly. I think we have the coaching core is pretty much all the same, minus the gap at the offensive line position or our offensive line coach. And then we got John Lovett at running back as running back one coming back. So the offense looks, that's what I like is that, with the being in a league where there's so much turnover, you never know who's coming back. It seems like we got a solid core back. It's almost like you're watching a college team where players graduate and then they don't come back. That's kind of the case here. They graduate to the NFL, they may not come back, and to be able to still have a solid core group that came back, that is familiar with the city, that's familiar with the team, the play scheme, the defensive scheme, offensive schemes, the coaching styles, all that stuff, that can take some of the newer signees under their wings and say, hey, this is how coach likes to do it. This is what we like to do here. This is why that makes a huge difference in the locker room as well. And so I can see a lot of those guys kind of stepping up, and I think there's going to be true locker room leaders from the players who made it to the championship last year and know what it's like to make it all the way, and this year want to finish the job, which I think is going to be it's going to be one of those things where this is going to be the season where let's finish the job. I think that's going to be the phrase. I know we have revenge season or payback season. There we go,
baby. Hey, guys, I got to check out real quick. Got a little bit of a family emergency. Everything's okay, but I got to deal with some kids. So, love you guys. Can't wait to get the season going. I'll see you guys real soon. All right.
Later, Jay.
Later. But yeah. Anyways,
like you were saying. I mean, I definitely agree, and it's a lot like a college. You've got a lot of short-term players. You're not going to have the long, 5-10 year careers for players, and I think that's what we're seeing with the UFL. It relies so much on how good your coach is to carry these teams. Just like in college football, players come and go. It's the coaching that really solidifies this team. And, I think that's where, we're stacking up on the offense. We've got a great defense returning. We've got the coach that can kind of help drive this team.
Yeah, no, and I mean, when you have Wade Phillips leading the charge as the head coach, I know people have said, when is he going to retire? Does he want to retire? Will he come back? I have it on pretty solid word. Unless they kick him out of the league, he's not going to stop coaching. Like, he doesn't want to stop coaching. That's in his blood.
He's having fun. You can see on the sidelines.
Yeah,
just any of the team events that he's been at. Just kind of having a chance to talk to him and with the rest of the fans. Like, he's loving it.
Yeah, I think that's something that the fans here bring, is some of that livelihood. I mean, we got the coach dance last year, so we're gonna see some touchdown celebrations with the Coach Wade right there.
Oh, we need to.
That would be pretty cool. But yeah, no, this season's gearing up to be a good one. We are, I believe, 48 days away from the home opener, or not the home opener, the season opener. Actually, yeah, it kind of is the home opener because we're playing in Arlington, so that's kind of like our home.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are about, I think, 48 days away from, as of today, from the opener, from kickoff, and it's going to be electric. Now, for those of you who are anticipating the start of the UFL, just know that the first two games will be played on Friday. St. Louis has the joy of playing for or against Houston, and then there's another game going on, and then we have the Saturday game, and then there's a Sunday game, and that's gonna wrap up the first weekend of the UFL action. But the fact that we have the Saturday game to kick it off, all eyes are going to be on the Saturday game, so that'll be a good one to watch. So, yeah. But I mean, we're coming up on the hour. It was good being back.
Yeah, real quick, kind of before we get to our ending, I did want to mention that DraftKings has now released their UFL odds for the season.
Are we number 8 again?
No, we are not. I'm gonna share my screen real quick and
I would love to see number 8.
Show what we are. No, can you see it?
Where were we at?
There we
So
are.
we're
We
number
are
4. We're tied for third, I guess.
tied for third. We're at plus 600. So
Why does
Yeah.
how does St. Louis get to be number 2 when they self-destructed? I mean, their coach don't even want to be there. Like, come on now.
yep. So
But
if you're in an area where you can log on and place a bet, you want to put $100 down, you got potential to win $600 if you bet for the
And-
Brahmas.
yeah, if you bet on the Brahmas, you have a good chance. If you bet on the Roughnecks, all I can say is, I mean, look what the Brahmas did last year. We were picked dead last, and we came out in the championship.
Yep.
So we were this close, but
This close to winning $1,500 last year. So
yeah, people didn't believe in us, and yeah, no, I agree. St. Louis at number 2 seems off. It really does. Birmingham, I mean, I can understand. I mean, they just picked up Alex Magoo again, who's got experience with them. Now, he doesn't have experience in the UFL. He has experience in the USFL, and they are going to be changing back to the XFL kickoff rules and doing a couple of rule changes, and it's a different style of play than what the USFL had. So we'll see how he does, how he fares. But Skip Holtz is still coming back, and
Yep.
it seems like they kept their coaching staff pretty much intact as well. So they're going to be another force to be reckoned with. But yeah, St. Louis at number 2, I don't see that. DC, I can see us being tied with them. DC has also kept their coaching staff intact. I believe they brought back Jordan Tamu, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
But yeah, it's yeah. Abram Smith, yeah, he was back. He's back, and DC, I think, is going to be back to where they were in 2023, where they're going to be a force. St. Louis has some nice QBs, I guess, if you want to, but you got to remember, they got to breathe in all that dust every time they play in that dome. So, they'll be coughing up a storm every time they step on the field. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see how these odds shift throughout the season.
Yeah.
I will say, I hope that Houston, now that they've moved back to the University of Houston, to their original home at TDECU Stadium, that they show up and show out like they did in 2023. I do hope that, Memphis also gets its fan base going. I know we got the Boatsman out there handling business, but I want to see these fan bases grow.
Yeah.
I want to see, more people in the stands. And, like I mentioned at the last show, the AAF, the Commanders, whatever allegiance you had, it's done. It's gone. No, we've played now 3 times as many games. No, not even 3 times, 6 times as many games that they did at this point. So we're about to play, almost the same number of seasons that they played games. So forget about them. And then next year, year 4, expansion. We already know that that's coming. So will be interesting to see what that looks like. That's going to be an off-season discussion, of course. But in the meantime, we have our team to look forward to in just about a little over a month.
Yeah, just over a month, man. I'm excited.
And with that said, make sure you are following us on all of our socials, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Follow Horns Forward Podcast. Follow Texans Talking Football. They are taking the week off tomorrow.
Well, yeah, we're taking the next couple weeks off, but we'll be back, I think, for an episode or 2 early March, just getting ready for the kickoff. But
yeah, and then
Horns Forward, we'll be have an episode every week until the season.
Every other week.
Every other week until the season starts.
Yeah. So unless we have some huge news that comes out that warrants an episode. But in the meantime, it's just going to be a hurry up and wait kind of thing for us. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody's faces again in person. And now we can finally drop our whatever NFL allegiance you had and come back to being one happy family. And not clown people for buying jerseys for people that they, know and cheer for, regardless of whatever NFL team they go for. So, yeah.
We would never do that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Vikings jersey.
Exactly. So you forgot the Browns jersey too.
But did you wear the Browns jersey?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? Browns, though, isn't as egregious for a Green Bay fan as a Vikings.
No, yeah, it hurt.
I mean,
it did hurt. It did hurt. But anyways, you guys, thank you guys for tuning in for this edition of the Horns Forward podcast.
Yeah.
Again, can't believe it. We are on year 3 of the UFL, right on the doorstep. And so remember, for all of you fans, especially you Dallas Cowboys fans out there, football did not end. It just moved to San Antonio. So we will see you guys in 2 weeks. And with that, we are out. Horns forward, everybody. We'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Later, everyone.